rate from its high down to its current low. It seems to be staying low as well, and this is in the context, of course, of this being the country that never went into full lockdown. This ICU unit in central Stockholm lies virtually empty, with just one coronavirus patient receiving care. This was the scene in April at the height of the Swedish pandemic, with the unit inundated. Outside, bars, shops and schools remained open throughout. No lockdown, but people were given official guidance on how to sanitize and when to socially distance, and they largely abided by those rules. Masks were never mandated here, with a senior government source telling CNN that they're regarded here as largely superficial. After an initial surge in the death rate, well above the Scandinavian average, Sweden now has one of the lowest death rates in Europe. Most of the casualties were elderly. 9 out of 10 were over 70 years old, and 45% of all deaths were in care homes. That's raised the question about the rest of society, the younger, the healthier. Did they develop some sort of resistance to the virus as they interacted?
It's possible. We have been building up some immunity that contributes to the present state.
But when people in Stockholm were tested for immunity, only 7% had enough antibodies to fight the disease. But they weren't tested for T cells, which also provide resistance.
So that means that immunity in Sweden and immunity globally is probably larger than we have previously appreciated. At least that is our current thought.
And that's a narrative that some American conservatives are grasping onto. Why bother with lockdowns and masks when you can allow people to go about their normal lives, catch the virus and build immunity, whilst only shielding the elderly and vulnerable? The Swedish government urges caution, pointing to how their safety guidelines were followed by most Swedes, but also a universal healthcare and welfare system that provides a safety net for anyone falling ill or out of work. Minister Lena Hallengren oversaw the government response.
We are in Sweden, you know, we are in Sweden.
We didn't have a full or a forced lockdown, but we have many changes, a large number of changes in the Swedish society.
Beautiful and smart. We are in Sweden, you know, we are in Sweden.
Online studies for all upper secondary universities and the adult schools. We also had, I think, 34%.
Long legs, Sweden on TV about the virus.
Staying home on sick leave because they have the slightest symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Go at the streets in the capital. You didn't meet almost anyone.
Long legs.
With a very difficult situation because I didn't have any guests or customers. So
Mm-hmm.
lots of things were changed. You didn't have any cultural event, the sports event. So things were changed, but not in a forced way. I think that was the difference.
Mm-hmm. The Swedish economy shrank by 8% in the second quarter of 2020, the largest fall since records began. But what of the bigger price? The many elderly who died, some argue, were sacrificed in the early days of the pandemic.
If you get the virus into those elder care homes, many of the persons living there are having very severe symptoms and they also die. So that's why we have this, by law, that people were forbidden to visit the elder care homes, but that was not successful in all the way, but we also learned a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
All care home workers have since been retrained in hygiene protocols.
Oh yeah, retrained.
The government here says it's too early to know
Old Town Long Legs.
or whether herd immunity for coronavirus is even a thing. Preparing for a possible second wave this fall.
We're prepared.
It will be the first country to see a surge in the virus after apparently stamping it out. And it's interesting, Robin, when you speak to people here, a lot of them are quite bemused by all the attention the country's response is receiving here. And a lot of people will just say that they think it's down to the fact that they followed basic hygiene protocols after that initial surge. As you know Scandinavia very well. It's not a very touchy-feely region, and people have been social distancing, and many people think that is the reason that they've managed to get it down.
Yeah, and I think you also make a good point, is that there is the backfill in terms of the healthcare system. You know, you can rely on it, where here in the US you can't, particularly if you're from some communities. So how do Swedes feel? Also,
Hear that?
so much of this American election, a political football in many ways between Democrats and conservatives, and sort of having sort of been the poster child of some sort of libertarian cause.
Well, like I said, these conservatives in America that talk about herd immunity and how that's a policy that should be...
Listen.
And then they can avoid wearing masks.
Sweden, they love you.
The debate there, when it translates to... They use that Sweden as the best example of how that's worked, but then you can speak to people in Sweden saying it's much more complex than that. You can't just take one of the policies here and use it as the reason for bringing the death rate down, and you can't translate it either to a different culture in the same way. And they point to the benefit system that you just mentioned there, also the different type of culture, and just, you know, the different spread of population as well. It's very difficult to translate this system to another Scandinavian country, let alone in a country as large as the United States. So they think that they're simplifying it in the conservative movement in the United States, but I don't think that I'll stop them using it, Robin. But you
No, certainly not. Max Foster, always good to speak to you. Thanks so much. Live there from Stockholm.
Certainly not. You see? We got the best scientists. Best equipment. Sweden less than a quarter of the size of America. That's where the fuck happened. We're gonna check out this stuff inside here and see what we got. Oh, I'm gonna turn on this shit right here. These man, because no. Sweden is good, you know. See, Sweden, the cayenne pepper. You got the swarte pepper, black pepper. Got this shit here. Got olive oil. You got stuff here. Avocado. Oh shit, but this is the main shit. Oh no, you can't see it. What they got here? Oh shit. Tamarind. Okay. We got a blender here to blend all kind of shit. And we got this too, you know. Long legs. They were talking about Sweden a while ago. Them say Sweden is the smartest country in the world. Watch them two machines here. The coronavirus, they say every country in the world must follow Sweden. They're the best scientists, long leg.
Yeah, we was like we make an experiment.
Man, I got so much fucking little bad dream last night I couldn't sleep. Maybe I eat the food fucking late, man. I dreamed that I was so homeless in Jamaica and all kind of shit and poor, and the motherfucker wouldn't help me and all kind of fucking shit. I said, what the fucking shit this? I better wake up and smell the fucking coffee and all kind of shit, long legs, and I said, man, sometimes you get them dreams sometimes, long legs. You know, you get them dreams sometimes, you wake up. It's so beautiful. No, are you rubbing at me long legs? Ah, Sweden! What time is it in Sweden, Mouth? These motherfuckers know in the morning now. Hope the election was safe in Jamaica. Peaceful election, it's like Sweden. Because Sweden is a role model, you know. The world based itself off Sweden, you know. You know that? I'll show you two scientists right there. It's Marlena and King Goose. Alright. Make you know that Sweden, on top of the game, I'm happy. Wake up and swell the Swedish coffee. Bang, ding, ding. Oh, they ain't gonna love Sweden now.